So now I want to quickly go through the high level design and the technologies that I have used and how it all comes together. Right, I've created this basic high level design about everything that I have been using in this project. So as you can see, everything is baked into TurboRepo, which is basically a monorepo manager. So in TurboRepo, you'll have two high-level folders. One is the folder for apps web, which basically is a Next.js application, and then there's a folder for packages. The difference between the two folders is that Next.js is basically your rendering application, I would say BFF layer, and it talks to the backend services which I have used. So as I said, Clerk for authentication and authorization, Convex for backend as a service. Basically, this is my whole backend, and for real-time communication, I'm using Liveblocks. In packages, you will see that I have created some basic TypeScript configuration, which then can be extended in Next.js or any other application that will be creating in future. So this is highly extensible in nature. Similarly, I have a base configuration for ESLint. I'm using shared CN to create my foundational UI library. So shared CN is using a lot of packages like card, dialog, drop-down field, input group, input dialogs, all of these, right? And uh, so these are what being used as my components inside Next.js applications. So the whole UI is being built using these shared CN component, and they're living in packages because I wanted to have that extensibility that teams can work on different packages themselves, and there is no dependency on each other. I'm also using Tailwind CSS to style my elements in Next.js. So yeah, that's also there. Uh, Coming to the Next.js part, so this is the whole Next.js diagram. So I have component for navigation, the base component, which is like the header. Then there's a root layout which wraps all of the providers I need. So I need provider for Convex, for Clerk and Convex communication provider. And then I also need provider for Liveblocks and few more. You can look at the root layout file and you can go to the providers.tsx folder file and you can look at those. Beside this, I have components for pages for login, sign up, and they use the clerks built-in components. Uh, Beside this, I have home page and uh, deck creation, deck deletion, slide creation, slide deletion kind of pages and features. Now, when we talk about decks, this is a very important part because this is a terminology I want to explain. Deck is a collection of slides, and user can uh, collaborate with other users on a whole deck or on a single slide, as we have seen in the demo previously. Now each slide has a collaborative space which has multiple features. For example, you have a global undo redo. You have so global undo redo is still user specific, but when I say global is basically TipTap editor has its own undo redo mechanism, which I want to kept it segregated. So you can drag drop items on the canvas. Let's call it canvas. It's not a canvas, but let's call it canvas. On that canvas, you can drag drop items, move around. I'm using DND kit for that. And then to create the text boxes, I'm using TipTap editor. Now this TipTap editor, I've also created a custom toolbar, a kind of a floating toolbar. So when you select something in that, it will show up. Otherwise, it won't show up. It's in this text editor is usually known as bubbles. So that's what I've created. Then TipTap has its own undo redo mechanism. All of this is inside the dashboard component or dashboard page. So dashboard page have decks. You can create delete decks. You can create delete slides, and each slide when you open it up creates a room where you can collaborate. So this is the high level design. Thank you.